Hello and welcome to another edition of the Ask Dr. Pickel show, where we help people to find health answers, especially if they have chronic conditions, chronic health problems, autoimmune conditions, just people who are not finding answers to their health. So today we are going to dive in with a topic, and today, there we go, subtle signs of brain inflammation. So, and this is opposed to brain inflammation that may be a little more extreme. I mean, if you have excessive brain inflammation, there's more diagnoses for these, such as Alzheimer's, such as MS, such as concussion, such as autism. These are all conditions that relate more to more extreme brain inflammation, which we also see a lot of patients with those types of issues. But what about the early signs? What about the subtle signs, the little things that's like, wait a second, am I starting to have some issues with my brain? Am I starting to have some problems here? We have to look at that. So let's kind of dive right in with some potentials here when it comes to brain inflammation. So probably the first symptom I'll hear the most from people that have brain inflammation is they'll say, Dr. Pickel, I feel like I have brain fog. This would be like, if you're wearing your mask and that air gets up into your glasses and fogs your glasses, you can still kind of see, but it's kind of foggy. So this is the way people feel in their brain. Or their windshield on their car fogs up and they can still make out what's ahead of them, but it's still kind of foggy. So again, if you're in that haze and that fog during the day, this is brain inflammation. This is subtle signs of brain inflammation, just that cloudy thought. And the thing is this can come and go, but this is an early sign that we definitely do not want. So brain fog, top of the list, and we do see this a lot, and so many conditions present with this. All right, the next one that we hear a lot is low or decreased mental speed. Okay, it's like I can't think as fast as I used to. I can't do things, calculate things as fast as I used to. There's this noticeable variation, this noticeable difference. And, some people, every once in a while may have a little thing. But again, when it starts to become more regular, processing, making decisions, it's like it takes forever just to decide what to eat for dinner or where I'm going to go or what, a decision that you should be able to make quickly, you're finding it takes a lot longer. Just not feeling as sharp every day. Or at just certain times of the day. Some people will say, hey, yeah, in the morning I'm pretty sharp. Afternoon, evening, I just can't. My mental speed really drops. I can't read as much, read as fast, calculate as well. If you're noticing that those bad days are increasing and the good days are decreasing, not a good thing. So again, these are, another sign, another potential for brain inflammation, also called neuroinflammation, if you want to get technical on this. All right. And then another one is reduced brain endurance. All right. And what does that mean? What happens if you have reduced brain endurance? Well, now think of it this way. Maybe when you were younger, let's say you were in like grade school, you could take in massive amounts of information, maybe even in junior high and high school too. You could take in all this information from all these classes and remember it, absorb it, really take all that in and get through your whole day and then go home and have more energy to go play or do whatever you did after school. So again, if you start to notice, hey, when I start to read a book, I start to get tired and fall asleep, or I start to have to do a lot of work at my computer, I get tired easily, or I notice these other signs increase like brain fog and mental speed. The endurance of my brain, I can't last very long with focus, concentration, things like that, before I have to take a break, before I've got to close my eyes for a while. Yeah, this shouldn't occur. You shouldn't just start reading a book and just, gosh, I can't even keep my eyes open, and then fall asleep. This means that brain endurance is dropping. And brain endurance mainly ties into fuel. So when we think of fuel, we've got to think of blood sugar, we've got to think of oxygen especially. So if your brain is running low on fuel regularly, yeah, if you're hypoglycemic, if you have diabetes or prediabetes, insulin resistance, if you have any types of anemias, not just iron, but B vitamin anemias, other types of anemias, any of these things that decrease your fuel, your blood sugar, or called your glucose, or your oxygen to your brain, you're going to start to have a brain endurance issue. So definitely potential issue there. And another thing we've got to think of with all three of these is, how often is this occurring? Is it occurring daily? Is it just certain times a day? Is this a regular happening? Is it increasing and worsening over a period of time? Because again, that means the inflammation is growing and getting more and more, which is again not a good sign, because what is inflammation? Inflammation is destruction. So what happens if your brain is chronically inflamed? It starts to degenerate, brain degeneration. It starts to break down. We start to lose some of our faculties, and we do not want that happening. Now, there's normal brain degeneration that occurs over time with aging, but why do some people of a higher age have great focus and concentration, great, memory, things like that, and some it's horrible? So again, you can't just say it's age. This is usually acceleration of degeneration, or just degeneration over time. So some people say, "Oh, I'm just getting older." No, I don't agree with that. I don't believe that. And some doctors will even tell their patients, "Oh, it's just age. You're getting older." No. Why isn't it everybody across the board then? So we can't look at it that way. We've got to look at it at, hey, if I've got brain inflammation, what's causing it? What's underlying that? Any type of inflammation has a cause. Inflammation just doesn't occur in the body for no reason at all. And there's a couple more I want to go over here too. Another one, brain inflammation due to, can't even, 1 second here. All right, let's just make that a little nicer. Due to exposure. So this would be like if you just painted your house, maybe inside or outside, or you've lit some candles, or you walk into a room and they're burning some candles, or there's certain scents, those little plug-in scent things, or some other chemical, anything chemical that comes into your body that causes you brain fatigue, brain fog, headache, lowered mental speed, any of these things, yeah, these are creating inflammation. So chemicals can do this easily if you're susceptible. Some people won't bother them at all. Some people, it really bothers them and gives them a headache quickly. Usually if these things bother you, you already have inflammatory issues going on in your body. You already have toxicities in your body. It's like your immune system's on red alert. And it's like that rubber band's already stretched this far. And when you smell something, it just takes it over the edge, and suddenly I get a raging fire in my brain. Not good. So again, if you do have these sensitivities, it is a sign that there's already underlying other issues going on in your system, because you shouldn't be that sensitive. But it is a real thing, because some people, when they're around people that they'll say, "Oh, well, I hate having so-and-so over to my house because every time they come over, they get a headache because I use this perfume, or I have these candles burning, or, things like that, or they can't stand the smell of my carpet," or something like that. So, but the thing is these people have real issues. So it's not that they want to feel that way. It's that, yeah, it's a problem. Now, another one too is brain inflammation due to foods. All right. So if you eat certain foods, now the most common ones we'll see: gluten, dairy, soy. Those are probably the big three that I see the most creating brain inflammation. And again, it's not like these foods just suddenly go to your brain. No. Here's the thing that you have to understand. Our gut and our brain are completely intertwined. Very, very important to know. In fact, they call the gut the second brain now. The gut has just as much nervous system tissue second to the brain. I say just as much. It has an amount second to the brain only. All right. So again, if you inflame the gut, then suddenly I start to get brain inflammation. I eat the wrong foods, and it doesn't have to be just gluten, dairy, soy. It can be a lot of other foods. It could be something that you drink. It could be, there are so many possibilities here. But again, this usually means that the gut's already inflamed, and it's like you just pour gas on the fire. You increase the gut inflammation, which increase the brain inflammation. Now, here's the other side to this. You don't have to have gut symptoms. You don't have to have digestive symptoms at all. Many people who react brain-wise to foods don't even have any bowel problems, stomach upset, nothing. They don't. It all occurs in their brain. They eat the wrong thing, they get a headache. They eat the wrong thing, they get that foggy-headed feeling, low mental speed, lower in endurance. So they'll be like, hey, I'm going to stay away from those foods because they make me just feel horrible all day long, focus concentration wise or headache wise. So again, it's looking at these different factors. And then also to know this is when you have these types of issues, one thing that can drive all of this is stress. So if you have increased physical stress, emotional stress, chemical stress, yeah, all these things can up this. It's again like increasing the fire in the house, especially in the brain. So stresses can be a factor. And when we say chemical stress, yeah, these are usually toxicities like heavy metals, chemicals, things like that. So the thing is finding what is allowing the inflammation to occur in the first place and what's driving it. Because brain inflammation, again, is not good. It is a progressive thing, and it can lead to those worse conditions that are happening more and more in this world. Autoimmune conditions that affect the brain, degenerative conditions that affect the brain. So, and again, which right now there's not a lot of answers out there for. So it's not as much trying to deal with these problems when they're at their worst. It's trying to prevent. It's trying to stop it early on in life. And that's really one of the biggest keys to the whole thing. But it, again, isn't talked about very much. All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed the story on brain inflammation today and got some good information on this. Clear that. All right. And if you think of anything, don't hesitate to message us or call the office. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day of clear thinking, no brain fog, and a great rest of the week. All right. God bless.